You ever found yourself in front of a crowd of people, small or large, and they're clapping, they're cheering because you've accomplished something that people think is amazing, but somehow you feel empty inside? Hi, it's K Diamond, and today we're talking about when you accomplish amazing things, but now you're sitting here wondering, now what? The first thing I want you to do for yourself, and let me grab my notebook because I'm gonna help you out here so you can see what I'm talking about. What I want you to do is take a sheet of paper, dry erase board, whatever you have in your house, take a sheet of paper. What I want you to do is I want you to make 2 columns, and at the top of those columns, I want you to write 1, what task you accomplished. I'm gonna put a comp because I wrote that all types of crazy. And then on the other side, I want you to write who you did that for. So we're just gonna write who, just simple terms. And for example, I'm gonna write graduated from college. Let's say grad from college. All right, graduate from college. Who did you do that for? Was it for you or was it for mom? And once you get your list together, I want you to tally it up and figure out who did you do it for? How often did I accomplish amazing things for myself? Things that I truly wanted to do, things that I was truly passionate about. And I think what you will find is that oftentimes, subconsciously, we go for the things that we feel others want us to do. For instance, college, that's a normal expectation. So you go for these things, you dream of these things, and you have this big picture of how your life is supposed to look. But in actuality, it's not how you really want it to look. It's how everybody else thinks it should look. I'm gonna give like a great example because, or at least in the South, I'm from the South. I live in the South. And in southern states, education is like valued extremely high. And if you decide to take a different course other than college, you know, you might get a little side eye. You going to church, somebody looking at you crazy because it's like they're not in school. What they doing with themselves? And so you have a lot of people in the South that decide, I'm going to go to school. And because they don't really truly want to go to school, they just pick this random degree and they start their coursework. Now, different things happen. Either they complete the coursework and they have no desire to continue in the workforce with that degree, or they bounce around from this topic to this topic to this degree to this major to this minor, and they realize like they can't quite put their finger on what it is that they want to do in life. And I'm not saying that to say that you only get degrees and you only pursue careers and futures that other people want for you. Because sometimes it really just is that you think that it's what you want for yourself. And you start this career. And for instance, I started college before I joined the military. When I started college, I had a degree. I was going for a degree in biology for athletic training. It made perfect sense. You know, I was very into medical and helping people, but I was also a huge sports person. I played sports, I love sports, I lived and breathed sports. So I thought, oh, combine the two together, let's do athletic training. So I went to school for that, but when life got tough, and I won't get into those details, but life got a little difficult for me in my first year of college, and ultimately I didn't stay. I ended up leaving college, and then shortly thereafter I joined the military because once again, that seemed like a great path when you didn't know what you wanted to do in life. The thing about me joining the military was at the point in time that I joined it, it was exactly what I needed. I will not knock it. It was what I needed to become a better person and understand who I was. And when I first joined, you know, I was one of the people that said 4 years. I'm going to get in for 4 years. After my 4 years, I am out. I'm done with this. And then right at the end of my 4 years, I was pregnant. So I was young, I was pregnant. I was pregnant by somebody that I knew wasn't gonna have my back, and I felt like I was alone. Now, fortunately for me, I had somebody that was older that had my back, and she helped me through my process of being a new parent and finding myself. Now I joined, I gotten a lot of accolades while I was in. I got my education, I got my master's and everything. There became a point where the military had already served its purpose for me, and there was no need for me to continue on. However, I stayed. My family was proud, and I thought, you know what? Everybody thinks I'm doing this great job, so I'm gonna stay. I also made rank very quickly. They call us fast burners. I was in leadership positions, and I continued to win awards and accolades left and right. And so many people were proud of me, and they thought, oh my God, you really got this thing. You're gonna be the next chief of the Air Force. And you're gonna be the first African-American chief master sergeant of the Air Force. And it sounded good. It sounded cool. It sounded influential. And for a moment there, I thought, okay, how about I stay focused on this track and I'll get there? But it's not what I wanted. It was time for me to move on because it was no longer a part of my path. So in life, it just gets a little difficult. I think it gets tricky. And especially when something that you started, was something you actually desired in that point in time, but it turned out to be something that you didn't care about as much in the end. I have like another example. I'm not going to use any names, but I know a person that started football. They excelled. They made it all the way to the NFL, but it wasn't really where this person's heart and their passion resided. However, they continued. They had a pretty good career. They had a great standing, but at the end of the day, they weren't on the path that they truly felt for themselves. So while others on the outside looking in thought, oh, this was amazing, this person did X, Y, Z, they accomplished this, it wasn't what they had planned out for themselves. And because it's not what they had planned out for themselves, they still had this empty hole in their stomach. So you got to remember that if your course changes, or if you're on the path that you're on because you're trying to please everybody else, eventually you're going to hit a brick wall. It will no longer provide any value to you. And then at that point, you'll start to self-reflect and you'll feel bad. It doesn't matter what you accomplish. It doesn't matter what great heights you accomplish. And the best example, it's touchy, but the best example is Miss USA. I read an article of an interview she had just before her passing. And one of the things she said was, she's made these amazing accomplishments, but at the end of the day, like, she didn't really do them for herself. So she felt lost. She felt confused in this world. And I think it's important for people to stop and reflect and try and figure out, why am I doing this? And if it had a purpose for me previously, does it still hold a purpose for me now? I know that, I stayed in the military because it looked amazing to other people on the outside looking in. But what actually truly kept me going in the military was mentorship. I care about people. I care about giving advice. And I felt like as long as I was in a position that I can help somebody else along in their career or in their personal life, then I was doing okay. And that's what I held on to in the military. But it came a point where it was tearing me apart to continue. And I had to stop and think, is there another way that I can provide mentorship? And that's when this whole YouTube idea came about. And I decided, hey, let's give it a go. If I'm encouraging people, I'm influencing them to really be their best and authentic self and to get through these different trials and tribulations that life throws at them, then I'm still doing what it is that I'm passionate about at the root of who I am as a person. So I just challenge you. I challenge you to go out there. I challenge you to evaluate the things that you're doing. Evaluate who you are doing these things for. And then that'll help you realize, are these accomplishments even valuable to you? Because what is the point in having 5 degrees? So everybody else can hand clap, but you feel empty inside? What's the point of going all the way to the league so everybody can say, oh, you're a millionaire, but you're not doing what you truly love and are passionate about? I think people have to come to this realization that the fame and the money is not life. Life is what makes you happy, what makes you feel full, and what keeps you going every day. And that may change. That may look a certain way in your 20s and a different way in your 30s. And it is perfectly okay for you to evolve. Don't get down on yourself because you don't feel the success that others see. You are still successful. You are still accomplishing amazing things, but you just need to take the time, take a second to reflect and figure out, is this what I still want? Is this what I still desire? That is the goal. And as you evolve in life, things may change, desires may change, and you just have to adapt and move and do the things that you can do after you self-reflect. So when you want to sit back and you want to think and question, what do I do now? I've accomplished amazing things and I'm really just trying to move forward and continue to accomplish amazing things and be a great person. Just stop and think about all the things that you did for yourself, all the things that you did because you thought it looked good for others, your mom, your dad, your spouse, society, the expectations that are put on you as a man, as a woman, as a mother, as a father. Just think about these things. And after you figure those things out, just stop and pinpoint the things that drive you, the things that pull you. What are you passionate about today? Just make sure you're accomplishing the things that you want in this given moment. Because when you look back, you can always remember that, it was what I wanted then. It was what I wanted to accomplish then. I will never regret my decision, and I will just continue to be the best person that I can be and learn from myself. You are successful in whatever stage you are in your life, and you will continue to be successful because you will continue to self-reflect and get better and stay on the path that you should be on. If you found anything that I said beneficial, or you would like me to elaborate on something, please feel free to drop that in the comments. And while you're at it, go ahead and like, subscribe, and click on that little bell to turn on notifications for my future posts. Bye!